And this is the Corona Show, episode 9. And we're going to talk all about the microbiome. We've been talking about the immune system and how we need to be on the front lines of this thing. Everyone's scared, living in fear, washing their hands, stay away from people, which is great, but that's not the number one thing you can do, right? That's maybe number 3, number 4. Number 1 is work on your immune system. And what do you think the most powerful, hands down way is to improve your immune system?
There's many things that we can talk about, but it is the microbiome. It's
the
basically
microbiome.
to build up our own God-made immune system. You know, you talked about washing the hands, we talked about social distancing. Those are all great things, as Dr. Axe mentioned, but those are all defensive in nature. That's not a proactive way for us to be able to do that. We're talking about vaccination, we're talking about therapeutics, as those are going to be the godsends. Reality, folks, we should be talking about the immune system and specifically the microbiome on a daily basis, and not only through supplementation, diet, but how lifestyle will enhance that.
And they did a study, kids that have dogs growing up have 50% less eczema and allergies, okay? And the reason that is because the dog is bringing germs, viruses, bacteria from outside and exposing the kids, and that builds their immune system like a natural vaccine, essentially, right? And so these kids have less autoimmune issues, less eczema, allergies, etc. So, you know, I think that's a great example, but so it's like, if we go to the grocery store, what percent of the time, before all this, did we go to the grocery store and touch handles and stuff, and do you think we were getting exposed to something that could be pathogenic to us? What percent of the time?
100%.
Every single time.
Every day.
Anytime you touch anything all day, you are touching something that could probably kill you. Every day. So why don't we get sick?
Well, we don't get sick because we have, again, our immune system that was given to us. Now, obviously, all of us came in the world a little bit differently, depending on, you know, C-section and our vaginal birth, whatever it may be. But these are things that we were blessed with that we're not focusing on. So hopefully today what we can do is we can talk about certain things that we can do to enhance that, and maybe some things that are misconceptions that people are doing to not necessarily help the microbiome, and they think they are.
Yeah. So our guts, that's where all the bacteria, our IgA, there's immunoglobulins that are in the gut lining. There's bacteria there. And then that bacteria works its way onto our skin, our sinus cavities, even our lungs, right?
Amen.
We have bacteria in there, and that's going to fight any kind of pathogen. And the mother, where it stems from, is inside your gut. I had really bad eczema, skin issues, chronic sinus infections. I treated my gut, sinus infections went away, respiratory issues went away, and my skin cleared up, all from treating the gut. That's the power of the microbiome, okay? So I think we've hit that enough, trying to, explain the importance. Let's talk about what do we do, okay? We know the gut is crucial. So how do we improve the gut? People say, I take probiotics, I did everything I could to heal my gut.
Okay,
right?
So let's talk about that. It's a good point, Doc. Taking probiotics. Well, usually when people talk about probiotics, and as functional medicine practitioner, we utilize probiotics strategically with patients all day long. Yeah. But they're not always the same probiotics because everybody's a little bit different. But we talked about going to the grocery store, talking to handles and so on. So what do we also do at the grocery store? We go and buy processed foods that don't have the proper fiber, polyphenols, all these little prebiotics that actually feed the bacteria. So
you want to feed the good bacteria too.
You want to feed it, and so
give us some examples, like squash maybe, or what are some good?
Squash would be really, really good. Mushrooms have a lot of polyphenols in them. Olives, I'm a big fan of olives, right? But all these God-made things. Yes, if we have an imbalanced gut, sometimes we have to reach to the bottom, okay, and utilize very, very specific ones, but if we have a healthy lifestyle, as we try to teach our patients, whether a chiropractic functional medicine on a daily basis, and we give the body the proper things, the body has the software, the body has the innate intelligence to take those ingredients and allow those bacteria the good bacteria know exactly what they need to do to protect you. Yeah.
So we talk about prebiotics. That's a big one. Number 2, which I know you're big on, stomach acid.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fundamental. That's one of the first steps. Sometimes even before a probiotic, sometimes I would recommend a stomach acid support.
You hit a big thing, Dr. Axe, because a lot of times people will come on in and they bring a laundry list of supplements they're taking and a lot of probiotics. If you are, let's say, 35 or 40, or you're a lot of stress, what happens is our stomach acid doesn't necessarily go up like most people think. They have hyperacidity. It actually goes down, especially when people are having a lot of stress. And if your stomach acid is not there, it can't stimulate your gallbladder, pancreas, but you do not have the motility that is going to be for a healthy gut. And so we could actually be taking probiotics that we're spending $50, $60 on that bottle. Yeah. And those probiotics can actually be getting caught up in our small intestines. So when we're talking about the microbiome, folks, everybody's a little bit different when they come and see us. And that's our job, is to be able to decipher, to be able to reincorporate that microbiome in the proper way, because if that gut is not working properly, if that gut is not healthy, these actually can be detrimental to you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, getting something like a Betaine HCl, it's a stomach acid support, so it helps break down those proteins, and it helps kill any bad bacteria that might be in your stomach, okay?
First part of your immune system, really.
Yeah, so again, taking digestive enzymes and a Betaine HCl support is one of the best steps for digestion.
Can I just add a caveat before you run down to the health food store? Yeah. You know, when we're talking about Betaine HCl, when we set a patient up, we always send instructions to be able to take it properly, low and slow. Yeah. And so if you ever have any questions about how to incorporate that or the proper Betaine HCl, chime in our Facebook and we'll send you that information.
Absolutely. So getting those enzymes, digestive support, and then I would say there's 4 steps. So let's break it down so everyone can understand. There's 4 steps to work on the gut. We just talked about number 1. Number 2, I would say, is killing anything pathogenic, right? That's when your oil of oregano comes in, your grapefruit seed extract. We use a blend called Microbiome. So it's like a natural antimicrobial for the gut, okay? And that is step number 2, clear out anything pathogenic, because those pathogenic or candida or anything that's overgrown, it could be good too, right? You could have good bacteria that's overgrown. And that's why probiotics sometimes make people worse. Yep. So taking the antimicrobial is going to help flush all that out. Because what those pathogenic bacteria does, it doesn't mean you have an infection. You need to go to the hospital, you have an infection. It's just an overgrowth, right? And this is something that GI doctors, conventional medicine, they don't even test for or know how to treat it. It overgrows, okay? And your immune system attacks that bacteria because it's trying to fight it all the time. And what do you think your immune system is going to do if it's doing that for 4 or 5 years?
It's going to actually deplete. You know, our immune system is not to be turned on. I mean, it is to be turned on all the time. It's a surveillance mechanism. Okay. Yeah. But as Dr. Axe was talking about, if we have these stressors, and that's exactly what improper, imbalanced microbiome is, or a bacterial infection in the gut, or even an imbalance, if your immune system has to attack and try to manage that all the time, that is resources and energy that your immune system can't help to fight what? Viruses.
Viruses, exactly.
Right. You know,
because your immune system's fatigued. And then what happens is, because it's been battling all the time, 2/3 of your immune system gets weak, and then the other third becomes overactive. And that could lead things like I had Hashimoto's, where my immune system was literally attacking my own thyroid. And for other people, it's attacking their joints or other areas of their body. So here we can see how this overgrowth of bacteria can cause a weak immune system and overactive immune system, leading to autoimmune disease. Okay, so number 2 is really important to get that overgrowth back. Okay, overgrowth out of there. Number 3,
repair. Well, I mean, that's what we're usually going to be doing. Is we all do it in different sequences.
Yeah. You hit on it earlier, like your prebiotics. Number 3. Now that we got rid of the bad, let's push that good in there. Prebiotics. We mentioned some of those foods. A good quality probiotic. Okay.
Absolutely.
We already talked about. Let's move on to number 4, which you just mentioned. Repair.
So, what we can do is we can re-inoculate and reintroduce some good probiotics. But if the tissue, which is very, very sensitive, is inflamed and permeable, that is not going to serve you well. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to utilize certain supplements, which starts with a good diet and taking those toxins away, but very, very strategic supplements like glutamine. But Boswellia is also slippery elm to actually colostrum, basically to go in there and nourish that 1 cell layer thick in your gut, The reason why is because if you don't heal it, we can eat all these good foods, but if we're not digesting properly, it's going to cause, we've heard about intestinal permeability, which is going to put another burden on your immune system, right? Which leads to autoimmune.
Yeah.
So what we have to do is we have to heal that gut, and everybody's a little bit different, but we utilize different strategies to accomplish that.
So if you're at home and you have some of these supplements, take these in the right order. I say do number 1 and 2 first, which is get your stomach acid up, get the digestive enzymes up, start to kill anything pathogenic. You can kind of do that at the same time. Start there. Do that for at least a month. When you're done with that, then move on. Keep taking your digestive enzymes, but move on to getting the prebiotics, getting a good probiotic in there. Do that for another month. And once you feel like you have that under control, now really focus on that repair. Slippery elm bark, aloe vera juice. There's a product called Tegracell, which is a colostrum supplement. And then you can start to repair. What are most people doing? They're doing this all at the same time. I got a little bit better, and then 3 months later, where are they at?
There's so many mistakes that can be made. They're worse. They're worse. And so because they're reading a book, they're reading an article, just to give you an example, they're also trying to detoxify the liver at the same time usually. And that's why when they come back with their whole bag, the body gets into a bad situation in a sequence of events. For us to be able to heal it, we have to usually follow that same sequence. And everybody's a little bit different, but there are common patterns. And so that's the reason why if you don't do it properly, you're going to be thinking that some of those things that you didn't work. But in reality, a lot of those things were exactly what you needed, but you needed it in the proper sequence.
Yeah, that's exactly right. A lot of people come in and I say, hey, you actually did everything you were supposed to do, but you did this too long, you didn't do this long enough, and you did it totally in the wrong order, right? It's like a puzzle. You have to put it together in the right sequence, or you're not going to get results. I think that's the biggest thing that we do is people might know what to do. They're just not doing it in the right order or in the right sequence. I think that's important to remember.
Yes, absolutely.
Last thing I want to mention, if you really want to dig deep to figure out the gut, 2 other things. We do comprehensive stool testing. You guys should go to our website now, axholisticmedicine.com, and the top right, integrative testing, and we have stool tests you can order right from our website. And then the last thing I want to mention, dietary protocols, GAPS, gut and psychology center is one of my favorite protocols for healing the gut. And I know one of your favorites is autoimmune paleo, as far as work on that gut health. So those are some things that you guys can look into. And does anyone post any questions? Okay.
I think what you're getting at, Doc, is we talked about all these sequence of events that needed and the problems that come from it, but it really starts with food, right?
It does.
It starts with food. So whether it's AIP, whether it's GAPS, it really comes down to the foundational things that you have to put God-made into a God-made entity, okay? The problem that we're doing right now is we're buying a bunch of man-made and we're putting in a God-made vessel, and it's not working out too well. And if we're utilizing all these processed foods that not only don't have the polyphenols to feed the good bacteria, it also has the sugars to feed the
pathogenic, bad
bacteria. So it's just like if you're going to go out in your garden, you got to garden it. You got to take those weeds out there, and you have to nourish the good things. Otherwise, if you don't do the proper things, just by default, if you're giving your body the proper tools, the result is not going to turn out good.
Your gut is a garden. I like that.
You like that, huh?
It's work. You got to work on it every week. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Post any questions, we can help answer them. And
asking the supplement.